Try again. Try again. Okay, I think we're live here. Let's check it out. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Periscope and Twitch. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're having a nice day on this Monday, December 21st. As the holidays quickly approach, let me send out the text message since I'm flying solo here. Smash the like button, so we can get this out to the masses. It is Jen's birthday, so feel free to send birthday wishes, even though she's still sick and can't be here, unfortunately. I'll give you an update on that in just a little bit. I am sending out the text message right now. Status Coup 108 72371. All right, the text message is out. Let me know if you could hear me. Let me know if you could see me. It is Status Coup in the house on this Monday. 100,000 subscribers, Leslie. We got that a little bit ago. Thank you for being a subscriber, I hope. Please share this live stream. Press the like button. Share, care, all those good things. Got a big show. And I want to show off my hat to you because my wife got me this wonderful hat that I hope more people will get. And it says, "You are on native land." And the first thing I thought when my wife gave me this is I like the hat, but I want to make sure as a white dude it's okay that I wear it. So thankfully, the company she got it from actually has that answer on the Q&A for the hat, that it is okay for a white person to wear this hat. They actually want more non-Indigenous people to wear this hat, and I think it comes in a snow hat too, a beanie, because they want to spread the message, which I think we should all remember. Obviously on Thanksgiving we should remember, but we should remember all the time that we are on native land. So I'm really happy to rock this. I'm happy my wife got it for me, a thoughtful gift. Now I got to get her something. Oy vey. Excuse me. So, smash that like button. We got 140 people watching already. To remind you, it is Jen's birthday. So feel free to send in your wishes in the super chat or via email, info@statuscoup.com. Unfortunately, damn, she lost the lottery. She's spending her birthday today and now over 4 weeks, still sick from coronavirus. Jen is one of the people that is in a group that the effects of coronavirus last longer than the typical 10 to 14 days. It could last upwards of 4 to 5.5 weeks for some people. And she, unfortunately, is one of those people. So she has been quarantined in her bedroom, away from her kids, for weeks. She did do her birthday via FaceTime with them today. So we wish her a happy birthday, 36 years young. She put it in an email, so I'm allowed to reveal. And also, we're going to do our best. She's at least going to try. Tomorrow night, we're going to do our members call. So Jen is going to try at least to start the call. I'll be on the full call. But we will be doing our monthly members call. So if you're not a member, sign up. We'll be doing it tomorrow night. So I'll remind you of that throughout the broadcast. But there's the link to sign up as a member for as low as $5 a month. So you could join us on the members Zoom call tomorrow. She will definitely be on in the beginning and see how long she could go for. Because honestly, her COVID is so bad that just talking for long periods of time really takes a lot out of you. So, we'll see how long she could last. But I will be on the members call. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Holy cow. So much drama in the progressive movement right now. It's like, get your popcorn and just follow Twitter and YouTube. Progressives fighting. Holy cow. But I want to start the show today. Okay, so we got the members call, Jen's birthday. What else? I think that's the only reminders I had for you. So this is a super chat. So please support us if you can. I want to start because I have been warning of this colossal shit sandwich, excuse my French, swear jar, that Mitch and Nancy and Chuck, I put Bernie at the table too because it's not his fault, but he's not, he's not ranting about it like he should be, Bernie. Thank you for the graphic, Colin. This bill that they are agreeing to, that I believe is being voted on as we speak in the Senate, is a disaster. An absolute disaster. And I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about, oh, it's a down payment, Jordan. It's just a down payment. It's a down payment till St. Biden gets in, who, by the way, got the vaccine today. You got to love that all these politicians who give us absolutely nothing. This bill is a slap in the face if you are unemployed. This bill is a slap in the face if you have been unemployed for months. It's a slap on the face if you are now impoverished. It is a slap in the face if you have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of back pay due in rent. It is absurd. Yet these politicians, they get the vaccine first. Their salaries haven't been cut during coronavirus. They still have their health care, and they get the vaccine first. I guess you could say the president-elect, he's going to be the president. Maybe he should get it first. I don't like Biden, but I could deal with that. But why should the rest of Congress get it before you? If they're giving you a pittance, crumbs in relief, they should have the coronavirus vaccine before us. Thank you, Eric G. Happy birthday, Jen. She's sleeping, but I know it will make her very excited if she wakes up to see a tsunami of super chats. Make me happy, but I know it'll make her happy. So let me just take you down memory lane, right? This was Nancy Pelosi, who, by the way, Nancy Pelosi just happens to be worth $121 million. I told Colin I want to start doing this. I want to start making a graphic of what each of these sociopath Neanderthals are worth. $120 million she's worth. That could buy you a lot of gourmet ice cream. Let's take a look down memory lane. Just what was she saying when $1.8 trillion was on the table before the election? When Wolf Blitzer must have had a lobotomy or something happened where Wolf Blitzer journalism was injected into his body just for a day. Remember this?
They can't pay the rent. Many Americans are waiting in food lines for the first time in their lives. Can you look them in the eye, Madam Speaker, and explain why you don't want to accept the president's latest stimulus offer?
Well, because, thank you very much, Wolf, and I hope you'll ask the same question of the Republicans about why they don't really want to meet the needs of the American people. But let me say to those people, because all of my colleagues, we represent these people. I have for over 30 years represented my constituents. I know what their needs are. I listen to them, and their needs are not addressed in the president's proposal. So when you say to me, why don't you accept theirs? Why don't they accept ours? Our legislation is there to do three things primarily: to honor our workers, honor our heroes, our healthcare workers, our police and fire first responders, our teachers, our transportation, sanitation, food workers, the people who make our lives work. We couldn't be doing what we're doing without them. Many of them have risked their lives so that to save lives, and now they will lose their jobs because Mitch McConnell says let the states go bankrupt.
Excuse me for interrupting,
let the states go bankrupt.
Madam Speaker, but they really need the money right now, and even members of your own.
I understand that,
but even members of your own caucus. Even members of your own caucus, Madam Speaker, want to accept this deal. $1.8 trillion. Congressman Ro Khanna, for example. But let me just quote Ro Khanna, a man you know well. I assume you admire him. He's a Democrat. And he just said this. He said, people in need can't wait until February. $1.8 trillion is significant and more than twice the Obama stimulus. Make a deal. put the ball in McConnell court. So what do you say to Ro Khanna?
What I say to you is, I don't know why you're always an apologist, and many of your colleagues apologists for the Republican position. Ro Khanna, that's nice. That isn't what we're going to do, and nobody's waiting till February.
Well, we know Wolf's invitation to the DNC Christmas party has been lost. Oh, how dare you, Wolf! How dare you, Wolf, challenge my authority! Queen Nancy! Oh, Ro, that's nice. Ro Khanna, that's nice. Who's Ro Khanna? So, to be clear, the Republicans don't deserve any credit here. They are just as culpable. They are the ones that looted the Treasury in March and April, insisting that multi-billion-dollar corporate conglomerates get trillions of dollars in free money that they didn't need. And, of course, Pelosi and the Democrats, they drove the getaway car. We remember. The Democrats agreed to the original sin of the CARES Act. Yes, $600 a week, good thing. 1,200-hour checks was decent. It allowed people to tread water during this COVID pandemic, but it also gave an unprecedented $4 trillion bag of free money to corporations that didn't need it. And the Democrats went along with it, as they always do, saying, well, we had no choice. It was the only way we could get the good stuff. We have to give corporate welfare on steroids to the criminals because we live in the United Corporations of America, not a country. We live in the United Corporations of America, as you know. But before the election, remember, Pelosi was offered by Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, $1.8 trillion. She said, I'm not going to do it. We want $2.2 trillion. I think 1.8 and 2.2 are both inadequate. I think we need closer to 4 to 5 trillion. By the way, smash that like button. We got 415 people watching. 184 of you have pressed that like button. It helps getting the views up, the more likes we have. So please press that like button. Keep those super chats coming. Thank you, Swirly Swirl. $5. Can we have an intervention with San Francisco and Kentucky so we could avoid a repeat of voting in crony politicians in 22? Wait till I get to Rand Paul. Oh, wait till I get to Rand Paul. Thank you, Swirly Swirl. Keep those super chats coming. For Jen, it's her birthday. So Pelosi was offered $1.8 trillion by Mnuchin and Trump. To be clear, that wasn't an official offer from McConnell, but if the President of the United States and his Treasury Secretary are offering it, I don't know. I'm pretty sure if you agree to it, you could then apply a shit ton of public pressure to Mitch McConnell and his turkey neck to get it done. And I don't know. Colin did this graphic for me. I failed math. Can somebody tell me, is 1.8 trillion more than 900 billion? Can somebody tell me? I need help. Is $1.8 trillion more than 900 billion? I'm not good with math. So right here, 1.8 trillion is what was offered, and that Pelosi wouldn't take it. Can't take yes for an answer. That would have been more unemployment a week. It would have been another round of checks. So let's see how Queen Pelosi reacted when she was challenged on this very point a couple weeks ago. Again, I don't know what's going on at CNN. They're now, I guess, with Trump out of the way, they could some kind of do journalism again. I'm not holding my breath. But she was asked a very simple question. I think this was 2 weeks ago. Why did you refuse 1.8 trillion, but now you're okay with half that?
Not to accept half of a loaf months ago when you said, I'm not going to accept half a loaf.
Look, I'm going to tell you something.
Now,
don't characterize what we did before as a mistake, as a preface to your question, if you want an answer. That was not a mistake. It was a decision, and it has taken us to a place where we can do the right thing without other, shall we say, considerations in the legislation that we don't want. So we're very pleased at where it is, and as I say, with a Democratic president committed to a scientific solution for this, with the idea that we will have a vaccine, it's a complete game changer from them.
So she said...
Aha! So, To be clear, the difference is 1.8 trillion is actually double 900 billion. But if you change the mathematical equation where the 900 billion comes with a president-elect Biden, then 900 billion ends up being more than 1.8 trillion because we have a President Biden. That's Nancy Pelosi's math. Not my words, that's her words. Here, Walker Bragman clipped this out. She says it even more explicitly, essentially saying, yeah, I blocked the 1.8 trillion because it was from Trump. And now that Biden's in, we'll just accept the shit sandwich of 900 billion.
But what shifted, in your opinion, when the Problem Solvers Caucus had a much larger bill a few months ago? You did not like that piece of legislation. What has shifted now when they're on board with this piece that's come out of the Senate?
Perhaps you missed what I said earlier. Joe Biden committed to ending and crushing the virus and having a Build a Better America initiative, Build Back Better, a vaccine, answer to our prayers, an answer to our prayers of 95% effectiveness in terms of Pfizer and Moderna, and there may be others coming forward. That is a total game changer. A new president and a vaccine.
I mean, you can't really put it any more clearly than that. She's literally saying, we have a new president now, my team, and we have a vaccine now, so that's why it's good, folks. Trust me, it's good that we're accepting half of an already inadequate loaf. $1.8 trillion is a lot of money. I don't want to say it's not. $900 billion, also a lot of money. But when you have, I mean, look at this, folks. 1.4 million Americans just filed for unemployment claims last week. Highest level in weeks. Overall, 20.6 million Americans are on unemployment aid as we head into the holidays. That's just the people who have been successful in getting unemployment. There are a lot of people, you might be one of them watching, that need unemployment, have gone through the bureaucracy of trying to get unemployment and haven't been able to get it yet. So when you have those kind of numbers, you need a lot more than 1.8 trillion. You need a lot more than a $1,200 check. You need more than an eviction moratorium, because guess what? When that moratorium ends, you think the landlords, you think the real estate developers that have purchased Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden, they're all purchasing our politicians, these greedy real estate developers. That's why we have something called gentrification. Do you think they're going to do a payment plan with you for you to pay back your $5,000 to $10,000 in back pay? You think that's going to happen? Yeah, just like the banks did a payment plan for all those people that they kicked them and their families out on the street during the financial crash and foreclosed on their homes, which, by the way, the Democratic president, Barack Obama, didn't do a damn thing about. So we have a ticking time bomb that is the eviction moratorium. Rent should have been canceled. Mortgages should have been canceled. And or the government should have just covered the payrolls for the landlords, for the small businesses, like they're doing in Europe. But no, we can't do things like Europe, because Europe is a series of countries, and we are one big multi-billion-dollar corporate conglomerate known as the United Corporations of America. I know I say it a lot, but got to say it again, because that's what this is. Thank you for the super chat. Gino, $4.99. Remember, Michigan gave state employees 1 day off, so they got unemployment plus the $600 CARES Act bonus. Do that math. Oh, my God, that's infuriating. Joanna, $5. Happy B-Day to Jen, and all the best to the whole crew of Status Coup. Well, the whole crew has just been me, because Jen's been off. Obviously, she's not on vacation. She's been very sick. But thank you. And Colin does a lot of great work for us. John, camera guy, does a lot of great work, so we appreciate the kind words. Did I miss? Oh, Swirly Swirl, $5. There are also tax breaks for racehorse owners and landlords, but barely any for us. Wait till I get to the tax breaks for business lunch write-offs. Or, as they call it, the 3 martini lunch. Did you see this? As part of the coronavirus down payment, what Pelosi's calling it, Trump and these fucking criminals got in there a tax break as a way to revive the restaurant industry, i.e. allow hedge fund managers, financial people, lawyers, real estate developers to literally write off in their taxes their lunches. The draft language of the emergency coronavirus relief package includes a tax break for corporate meal expenses pushed by the White House and strongly denounced by some congressional Democrats, according to a summary of the deal. The officials spoke on the condition of anonymity, blah, blah, blah. President Trump has for months talked about securing the deduction, derisively referred to as the 3 martini lunch by critics as a way to revive the restaurant industry badly battered by the pandemic. But critics said it would do little to help struggling restaurants and would largely benefit business executives who do not urgently need help at this time. Yes, because the working poor are going for 3 martini lunch. The union workers are going for martini lunches right now. This, folks, I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. If this isn't going to cause a general strike, what the hell will? Seriously. I'm not just ranting for the hell of it. I'm not just ranting for clicks. I'm angry. And this is coming from somebody who's not on a breadline right now. I am very, very lucky. My wife and I are very, very lucky. We're not rich, but we're not struggling, for food or things like that. But I know a lot of people that are. I've made my living talking to poor people in the field, not rich people. I've made my living building sources in Flint and Standing Rock and other communities of people that are doing very, very poorly, that are one disaster away from homelessness and catastrophe. Those are the people I care about. This is a theatrical show right now. It's an absolute joke. Alex, happy birthday. Thank you. I'll tell Jen. Ann, $25. Screw their $600. I say we riot. Thank you, Ann, for the $25. I think we're close to a riot. I mean, I never talk about violence, but I don't know what people are supposed to do when you repeatedly shovel them shit sandwich after shit sandwich after shit sandwich. At a certain point, you got to say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to fucking take it anymore. It's disgusting. Let's hear more from Pelosi. Oh, faint signals, $5. Hope Jen is recovering and you're back as well, Jordan. I posted you the deficit myth just recently, then noticed you were listening to it. Oh, thank you very much. I am. I did order the deficit myth by Stephanie Kelton. I think it's coming soon. Let's see. So Pelosi went from 1.8 trillion not enough to now extolling the virtues of a $600 check. Here we go.
We also have in the legislation direct payments, which were not in the Republican bill, to America's working families. I would like them been bigger, but they are significant, and they will be going out soon. We also have in the legislation
Nancy Pelosi tells us about the significant direct payments of $600. Not good at math, but maybe that $600 buys, I don't know, 50 of her luxury ice creams that she stacks her refrigerator in her mansion with. $120 million this woman is worth. She had an offer of $1.8 trillion. Again, $1.8 trillion wasn't the promised land, but a hell of a lot better than $900 billion. She didn't take it because she wanted to hurt Trump and help Biden. More specifically, she didn't want to give Trump a victory before the election. And now she is shoveling, and it's not just her fault. Let's also blame the Republicans too. They're fine with this too. But she is trying to sell to us this disgusting shit sandwich. And Bernie knows better too, by the way. Love Bernie, but he's saying ridiculous things too. The COVID relief that Congress will vote on today will help many, but goes nowhere near far enough. I agree with that. But the Biden administration on day one must bring forth a major economic relief bill that addresses the severe economic pain of working families, including more direct payments. You know, I'm not going to get into it, but I spoke with somebody today that I know. It's a source. I'm not going to get into, let's just say it's somebody in Bernie's world who's been with him for a while. And I said to that person, is Bernie, I love Bernie. I'm not, I also love Jimmy, but I don't agree with Jimmy calling him a coward and a sellout and all these things. I think he's naive. I think he's really, really naive. And I said to this person in Bernie world, does Bernie really believe that this down payment business, does he really believe that, it's not what I want, but let's just take this $300, the $900 billion, if you don't know, it's $300 a week, unemployment insurance, a $600 check, more money for the PPP program, even though the original PPP program, like tons of that money that was meant for small businesses, like my mom and dad who own a small business, an actual mom and pop store, but was instead given to donors and rich people who aren't small businesses. There's money for, a little bit. There's a little bit of money for a little bit of everything. No money for states and localities. Does he actually believe that we're going to get $900 billion now, and let's just take it because when St. Biden comes in, he's going to propose a larger, visionary bill for the full amount of what we need, and we'll get it through. President Obama had both houses, Senate, House, obviously the White House. He didn't get one Republican vote for Obamacare, which was another shit sandwich. He barely got Republican votes for his stimulus during the 2008 financial crash. What in the world makes you think that Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party, who just increased, shockingly, nobody thought they would, just increased their seats in Congress. Democrats thought they were going to wipe the floor with them in the congressional races. Mitch McConnell and Republicans won more seats in the House of Representatives. Democrats thought they were going to win way more seats in the Senate. They didn't. You think Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party, looking at 2022, because all they care about is power, seeing that, wow, we just, during a presidential election, during a pandemic, where the president's a Republican, the Senate is a Republican, we've presided over 317,000 deaths, but yet we still gained ground in the House, we gained ground in the Senate. You think they're going to give Joe Biden one vote? I'm being serious. One vote. Maybe Mitt Romney. Maybe Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski or one of these moderate Republicans. They're not going to give you any more money. Why? Because they're going to say, we have already given you nearly $3 trillion. They're going to cite the April CARES Act, 2.2 trillion, and they're going to cite this $900 billion. And they're going to say the vaccine is here, it's being widely distributed, and we need to, America's not an endless ATM, and all of a sudden they're going to care very, very much about the debt and deficit, because they don't care about the debt and deficit when they're in office, and suddenly when they're in the minority, once again, they're debt warriors. That's how the Republican Party works. I don't give a shit about debt, period, because there is modern monetary theory. We have all the money in the world to pay for all these things, as I know, and Steve Grumbine, who I've had on many times, has told you. Keep pressing that like button. 615 people watching. 392 of you have pressed like. Keep it coming. I think I missed a super chat. Kush Renata, $5. First we demonstrate with the guillotine. Next I say we use them. Jimmy's right. Two things move politicians: fear of losing their money or their lives. Well, I'm not quite saying bring Nancy to the guillotine. I think that might be far. But politically speaking, if we could do it in a nonviolent way, yeah, bring her to the political guillotine. Absolutely. Gene, $4.99. Not trying to be anti-vaccine, but does a mutating virus make the vaccine just as irrelevant as the flu vaccine? I don't want to get into the mutation because I haven't. Obviously, there is a mutation spreading in the United Kingdom in particular and Europe. I want to know what I'm talking about before I respond to it. As of now, I'm worried about it. But I don't want to freak out and be making scientific proclamations that I know nothing about. But there is a COVID mutation that has been found in the UK. Reportedly, it's a lot more infectious and contagious than COVID-19. They are currently shutting down travel. Other European countries are not letting people from the United Kingdom in because it's spreading in the UK. Of course, the United States is because we're fucking moronic. No offense to my friends in the UK. But I can't answer you. I really can't. I'm going to take the vaccine when it's available. You do what you want to do, but I think you should take the vaccine. I really do. So it's just ridiculous. Then you have the New York Times with this bullshit editorial. Oh, the deal is good enough, says all the writers at the New York Times. This is from their editorial board. The deal is good enough. It should be larger. It should have happened months ago. But an agreement on coronavirus aid is still a welcome dose of good news. This coming from the beacon of the status quo. Coming from the very people, the New York Times editorial board, who are not struggling economically right now, who have very, very good health care, let me tell you. It's good enough in their mind because they have nothing on the goddamn line. It's good enough. Well, I go with Congressman Ro Khanna, who just tweeted out, what's $600 going to buy you? Seriously. $600. When you were already before the coronavirus living paycheck to paycheck. When you've been unemployed 4 months with no federal relief. Remember, the $600 a week ended in July. We're almost in 2021. I mean, look at the responses. A cremation ceremony. One person, almost 90% of my health insurance premium for a whole month. Enough for a road trip to go to my senator's home and protest this BS. About 20 of these wood handle 4-line digging forks. Oh, God. Pitchforks. Jack shit. I would say jack shit, but with $600, I could really only afford the jack. Good one. We'll pay off a loan and be able to pay off some Christmas credit card debt. Not even a little light in the black hole of credit card debt. Complacency. Nothing. Straight to the creditors. I mean, we could go on and on. And this is something that I think, honestly, is part of the institutional gaslighting that is the American political system. And this is a bipartisan thing. It is a bipartisan thing in the American political system that essentially tells you nothing big is possible. We only have a finite amount of resources and money. And, the government is not an endless ATM unless it's for endless war, unless it's for tax cuts for our donors, corporations, real estate developers, business executives going to lunch for 3 martinis. Goldman Sachs gets subsidies from the government. Raytheon gets subsidies from the government. Pfizer gets subsidies from the government. Lockheed Martin, I could go on. They want you to believe, and the Democrats, too, want you to believe, this is the best we could do. This is the best we could get. When the reality is they could have gotten a lot more. Let me just explain. And again, I'm not saying I'm running for office, but this is what I would do. President Trump, obviously he says a different thing every day, And yes, it is Jen's birthday, so let her know in the super chat how you feel. Her 36th birthday. Spent quarantining because she's still sick. If you came to this late, we are going to do our members call tomorrow night. She's going to try to hop on if she's feeling up to it, at least for a little bit. We're long overdue. We haven't done a members call in a while. So 7:30 tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, so that's 4:30 Pacific. We'll have our members call through Zoom. So I hope you could be on there. If you're not a member yet, what are you doing? Sign up, statuscoup.com/join. I just put it there in the super chat. But Trump was pushing for more money in direct payments. Okay? He wanted more than $1,200. A story came out that he was demanding $2,000 a month. And his people, they had to interject. Can't let something insane like that, giving struggling, desperate Americans $2,000 a month during a catastrophic, deadly pandemic. But Trump tweeted this out. If you were a politician with a brain, or more importantly, a will to actually help people, you would get in front of every camera you could. You would start the social media campaigns, and you would say, we agree with President Trump. We need $2,000 a month as part of this deal until this pandemic is over. Why isn't the Republican Party listening to the president? He lost. You could agree with him now. The American people are struggling. I, Nancy Pelosi, agree with Donald Trump. Get the MAGA people in on it. MAGA will support anything he wants. They could have cheerleaded based on what Trump said and pressured Mitch McConnell, who, oh, by the way, desperately wants to win those 2 Senate seats in Georgia that are up for Senate runoffs. Mitch McConnell don't want any bad press for the Republican Party. He doesn't want to make it look like he's the only one standing against actual stimulus checks, not $600 of crumbs and garbage. But the Democratic Party didn't do this. And devil's advocate could say, well, Jordan, you're not a politician, so it's easy for you, some YouTube jackass, even though I am a reporter and I'm currently working on a pretty big story. So stay tuned for that. That's why I'm been late going live for a few days, because investigative reporting takes a lot of time behind the scenes. So it's not easy to go live at the same exact time every day, because I'm also doing the investigative reporting in addition to the live YouTube show. But there are so many different ways you could have used Trump's own words to demand more for your constituents. But they didn't. And why is that? Their donors won't allow it. Their donors do not want to even open up that Pandora's box of giving struggling people anything per month, any significant amount per month, because then they might expect more. It's basically the it's like Social Security or Medicare. Once you give an entitlement, even though it's not an entitlement and we pay for it our whole lives to get Social Security and Medicare, once you put that into society, that expectation of more of social benefits, very hard to unpeel. Very hard to pull that back. This is a disgrace. And frankly, no, I'm not going to just completely blame it on Bernie Sanders like some others would. He's not a dictator. He himself does not have the power to stop anything. And frankly, even the $600, which is crap, is thanks to Bernie Sanders and Josh Hawley, the Republican, who fought to get any direct check into this. So he deserves credit for that. By the way, where is progressive Elizabeth Warren? What is she doing? I didn't hear her on the Senate floor saying pip squeak about the need for stimulus checks. She's still upset over snake emojis. She's progressive when she's running. When she lost and no longer relevant, can't be bothered to get on board with Bernie. You're a progressive in the Senate to get stimulus checks. So I'm all for. I credit Bernie for getting anything. But where I differ with him, and I think we could have an honest disagreement with people we love, like Bernie, without denigrating them as sellouts and cowards and this and that, to me, that's stupid. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. But Bernie, are you naive? You know as well as I do. These Republicans are not going to give any more. You just gave them a reason to do nothing when Biden is president. They are going to say, we've already given $2.9 trillion. Count it. $2 trillion in April, $900 billion in December. The vaccines are coming. We're closed for business. And the Republicans will do what they did under Obama, watch the economy tank, and then blame it on the party in power and clean up in the midterms. They're going to wipe the floor with the Democratic Party in the midterms. Save this video. John Coyne, $10. Who will be more right-wing, Trump or Biden? I've always said I don't really think Trump has a pure ideology. I think he'll be whatever he thinks he needs to be to stay in power. I think he miscalculated during this election what he needed to be. I think if he would have ran the same exact campaign that he ran against Hillary Clinton on Joe Biden, even during a deadly pandemic, he would have won. For some reason, he decided to not go after Biden the same way he did Hillary on him being for NAFTA and all these terrible trade deals and selling out workers, and decided to make it a campaign about Biden being a scary socialist boogeyman and secretly being in bed with Bernie, AOC, and the rest, which nobody believed. If he would have hammered him relentlessly on his record of selling out workers, I think Trump, even with the pandemic, could have pulled it off. But I think he ran a terrible campaign. And who will move more right-wing? Biden's already moving more to the right. Look at who he's staffing his cabinet with. Look at that leaked audio that The Intercept got of him basically lashing out at a civil rights activist for daring to ask for more representation. That's what you're going to get from Joe Biden. Kush Renata, $5. Hollywood Reporter with a link. COVID-19 stimulus bill would make illegal streaming a felony. Can you email that to me? info@statuscoup.com. info@statuscoup.com. Kevin Howard, $10. They need to pay off the back rent and mortgage payments and PUA of $600 a week, $2,000 payments, and $500 billion PPP. I agree with you. But by the way, Kevin, this PPP program is one of the biggest scams in the United Corporations of America's history. This PPP money, if there is a full analysis, and I know that there are groups doing this right now, if you look through the PPP program and go through the full list of companies that got this money meant for small businesses, I'm going to venture to guess a good 20 to 30% of the companies and individuals that got PPP money were not actually small businesses and were already doing just fine. Wait till that analysis is done. I don't have the manpower to do it, but it will be done. And I'm telling you, based on what I've seen, that money was like a fucking cookie jar that plutocrats were putting their hands into, and nobody was stopping them because the program was designed to misdirect that money meant for small businesses to people who shouldn't get it. John Mabwa, $5. Office of Attending Physician, which provides medical services to congressional lawmakers, received a special boost of $5 million, zero for Walmart, guys. Oh, by the way, Walker Bragman found this. Snuck into the coronavirus bill. Do you know this? My father will love it. He's a major Zionist, but I think it's ridiculous. 50,000. Wait a minute. Let me get the exact number. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. I think it was $50 million for Israel. Oh, no, I was right. Here's Walker. $500 million for Israel. Wow. Over 20 million people filing unemployment claims. Bread lines filling the highways in Texas and elsewhere. But we had to find a way to give $500 million to Israel in the coronavirus relief package. Good if you're a, zealot Zionist like my father. I love him, but we don't agree on all things. But that's what's going out in the coronavirus bill. Good catch by journalist Walker Bragman. He works with David Sirota's Daily Poster. I mean, it's just the whole thing is obscene. Absolutely obscene. Oh, look at that. 500 million for Israel is now trending. Interestingly enough, this bill also $2 billion for Air Force missile procurement and related expenses, $4 billion for Navy weapons procurement, $2 billion for the Space Force. And the U.S. Senate voted to give $740 billion to the military-industrial complex 2 weeks ago. So obviously we just don't have the money. We don't have anything more than $600 check, a 600-hour check, at $300 a week, because we have to give $500 million to Israel. We have to give $2 billion to the Air Force, $4 billion to the Navy, $2 billion for the Space Force, $740 billion for the military. And by the way, just to be clear, because I was looking at the Reddit pages, I was looking at Reddit unemployment, I was looking at stories, I was talking to people. Right now, behind the scenes, I'm setting up more interviews with people that are struggling due to coronavirus. On the surface, it sounds, oh, great, I'll get I was getting the $600 a week unemployment. That really saved me. $300, cutting that in half is not right, but at least I'll get something every week. It is a bureaucratic fucking nightmare. Tossing 20 million people on unemployment. And by the way, I think it's more than the 20 million, but that's what the Washington Post reported, so that's what I'm citing. 20 million people on unemployment claims. It is a bureaucratic nightmare for every one of those people to promptly get that $300 a week. It ain't gonna happen quickly, particularly during a deadly pandemic where cases are skyrocketing. I have tried myself for my own personal health, because I've been having some stomach issues, as you know, to get people on the phone just from doctor's offices. It takes a while. I have tried in relation to something with Flint, something I'm working on with Flint, to get courts on the phone, to get documents. Nobody's in because of COVID. The people with the $300 a week aren't getting that money quickly. You'll be lucky if you start getting it in a month after this bill passes. I know people who were eligible for unemployment, did everything right, was calling their state's unemployment lines repeatedly, sometimes on hold for hours. You might be one of them who never got the unemployment. I got to tell you, at a certain point, I think I really don't know if electoral politics is the main thing we need to be focused on. Of course, it's a thing. We should 100% be focused on getting people like Nina Turner elected, growing the numbers. But frankly, as I've shown you, progressives right now, I mean, listen, I know there's been a whole big mishmash of fuckery online, Jimmy Dore versus every single person known to man. I saw that he got into it with my former employer, the Young Turks, yesterday, which gave me a chuckle and some enjoyment. But Jimmy's not wrong. I don't always agree with the way he articulates things. It could be a little vitriolic, which I've told him. It might turn people off that you want to bring to your corner. But he's not wrong on the merits. Right now, progressives do have the numbers currently. Those top 7 right now, they could have voted no on this bill. It might have not stopped it from passing, but it could have been a dent. It could have delayed it. On Medicare for All, Jimmy's right. They could block Pelosi from automatically winning re-election as Speaker. She needs 218 votes to get a simple majority, but she only has a slim majority right now. She only got a four-seat majority. So, I don't know, if you only have a 4-seat majority And you got 7 progressives currently in office that are for Medicare for all strongly. You got 5 coming in. I might have to redo this graphic. I've heard some things about Richie Torres. He did run on Medicare for all. That's why I put him on here. But I've heard he's not the real deal, so I might have to take him off. So we have the numbers. But what I'm saying is, right now, for whatever reason, and I don't agree with it, I think AOC is wrong. I think these people pontificating, Sam Cedar, I saw a clip he did, Benjamin Dixon, all these people. I saw Nomiki pontificating. Like, who made these people? I mean, I don't have anything against them. Who made them the arbiter of like, what is good strategy and what is not? Who makes certain YouTube hosts or certain people in progressive politics the final judges and juries on what is good strategy and is not? I mean, you could say the same thing for me. You could say, well, why should we listen to you? You don't have to. But there's a certain elitism that I'm hearing in the argument because they don't like Jimmy personally. Oh, no, Jimmy's not, he doesn't understand how movements work. He doesn't understand how movement politics works. Well, let me explain to you my understanding based on someone who's traveled the country over the last 6 years. I've been to 40 states. I don't know how many cities I've been to. I've been lucky, first at the Young Turks, to be able to travel and cover stories no one else was covering. And now I'm lucky enough through you, the community, hint, hint, sign up to support our in-the-field journalism for as low as $5 a month, statuscoup.com/join. Join our members call tomorrow night. We owe you more than one. Right now, we're going to do one tomorrow. We might try to get another one in before the end of the year because we didn't do one in November. And then Jen's been sick with COVID, but we do owe you more than one for the month. But I want to show you what I tweeted out because I just, maybe I have a different perspective because I'm out there in the field and I've met so many people. But these people, their snobbery, shooting down Jimmy's idea that, it can't work. What does Jimmy know? They speak like I've been doing movement building for years and how it works. It's not how Jimmy thinks it works. Well, I don't, no disrespect to organizers and AOC who keeps tweeting about how movements work and how organizing works and movement building works. But nobody has a monopoly on how movements work. And there's no it's also my view on being a journalist. You don't have a special credential to be a journalist, just like you don't get you do, they give you something to wear, but I think anybody could be a journalist if they want to work hard, if they actually care about truth, if they're not afraid to rock the boat, if they're not trying to climb the corporate ladder and gain Twitter followers, if they actually want to get in the trenches and do the dirty work like we do here at Status Coup. I don't think you only could be a journalist if you go to Northwestern and get a master's in it, or if you go to Columbia Journalism School. I think that's bullshit. I'm very lucky and thankful I didn't, because I think they teach you basically to be a corporate, corrupt, neutral dinosaur. And I don't think you necessarily have to be a YouTube host for 10 to 15 years and have hundreds of thousands of subscribers to be like official street cred progressive to determine what's the right strategy and what's the not. So to me, this is why Jimmy's strategy is right. And I'll just read you. You don't have to agree with me, but this is what I think. And I also think enough already with Jimmy. And I'm speaking about myself too. I brought up Jimmy. But to me, it ain't about Jimmy. Put aside whether you like Jimmy or not. It doesn't matter. Right now, Pelosi has a 4-seat majority, which is what I explained. I'll send you the tweet if you want to read along with me. She has a 4-seat majority. This is math. Okay? So, if you have a 4-seat majority, progressives currently have 7 pro Medicare for all House members and 5 more coming. Why not make a demand for your vote, i.e., politics? The whole strategic rationalization of it's a waste of time, it won't pass, is kind of counter to how actual movements work. Again, I've been around. This ain't my first rodeo. I've interviewed activists. I've met civil rights leaders. I've met leaders of the feminist movement. I've met leaders of the LGBT movement. I've met indigenous leaders. Like MLK, Martin Luther King, Gloria Steinem, Harvey Milk. They didn't say, like, let's not bother trying or protesting or pushing because, like, we're not going to win on the first try or the second try or the fifth try. It's already understood you're not going to win on the first try, the second try, the fifth try, maybe the 10th try. But, to be clear, will a Medicare for All floor vote pass if progressives force it now? No, it's not going to pass. I don't think Jimmy claimed it was going to pass. But the question of doing it isn't about whether it will pass right now or not. That shouldn't be the measurement of whether it's about Medicare for All, any other progressive goal. The measurement shouldn't be do we push or not push based on is it going to work right now? Is it going to pass right now? I don't know why, with all due respect to Benjamin Dixon and Sam Cedar and Nomiki and these other people, why their measurement is, will it pass right this minute? Will it pass on the first try? That's not, they keep talking about movements in a condescending way, but of course, that's not how movements work. It's okay if it will not pass. I don't mean it's okay, we desperately need it, but it's not, fatal to the goal to get it if it doesn't pass right now. This notion that, that's what Mitch McConnell wants. He wants Medicare for All to fail on the floor, to embarrass progressives. Who cares? That's a straw man argument. It doesn't matter if it fails on the floor. It ain't failing in the polls. It's only increasing in the polls. And frankly, it's going to be increasing in the polls even more as this deadly pandemic kills, unfortunately, more people, leaves their families struggling with debt to pay for their care. People are being hit by massive bills for their hospital stays. So part of politics is, wait for it, performative. Get every House member on the record as voting yay or nay for universal health care during a catastrophic, deadly pandemic. That's step one. When the majority vote no, because they will, and then in 2022, which is the next election, progressives can then primary those specific Democrats who voted no and hammer them into oblivion in TV ads, in digital ads on that vote, while simultaneously the popularity and support for Medicare for All will be increasing. They could also add in not only that these people voted no, but in the 2020 election that brought Biden's politically dead carcass in the exit polls of all the Democratic primary states, including Mississippi, for God's sakes, majority of the voters were for Medicare for All. In a recent Fox News poll, yes, Fox News, 70% of Fox News viewers wanted, they called it government, health care, whatever. Of course, you don't win on the first try, but getting a yes or no vote helps crystallize the issue and which side each Democrat is on. More so, you probably will never have a better time or moment to force this issue than a deadly pandemic. This was tweeted 2 days ago, so it's more than that, where 316,000 people have died. Let that sink in. I think we're getting numb to these numbers. I think it's now 318,000 people have died. 318,000 people have died. Forcing this issue now also sets up a dynamic of progressives going on offense against Joe Biden and, frankly, his likely successor, Kamala Harris, early and often in the lead up to 2022 and 2024. I respect AOC. I do. I respect Ro Khanna. I'm not, I love Jimmy, but I publicly say, if you don't like it, that's fine. I think in sometimes he goes a little far and could be pushing these people away. I agree with the idea, but I don't agree with, a holy war against the closest politicians to what we believe because they don't agree with us on every single thing. Now, if they start pulling away where they don't even support Medicare for all or a Green New Deal, and they start moonwalking away from the actual policies, then we have to discuss that. So I respect these people, but this rationalization that it won't pass right now, so we shouldn't waste our time and political capital, is wrong. It isn't how any historic change or progressive civil rights victories have happened. You don't win long term if you don't publicly fight years earlier. Progressives need to stop fighting on Twitter with each other and start fighting the corporate Democrats. Trump as the boogeyman is no longer a thing. He'll be gone soon. Take the fight to corporate Democrats. They just lost House seats during a deadly pandemic. They are vulnerable. Again, this isn't about Jimmy. And one more time, I will show you. We currently have the numbers right now to block Pelosi from winning the speakership. She ain't getting any Republican votes. She needs 218 votes. They only have a 4-seat majority in the House. And by the way, there's 2 elections that have not been certified yet. One in Iowa and one in upstate New York. So if all these people on the top and then these people on the bottom who are coming in the new year say, we want a floor vote, what is she going to do? She's not going to have a choice. I have a devil's advocate, and I've heard some like Ben or other people say, well, why don't we, in theory, I agree with demanding something, but why don't we demand something that's closer to getting done? Meaning, I don't know, the $15 minimum wage. Why don't we push for that? Well, first of all, the $15 minimum wage has already passed the House. Biden supposedly is for it, even though I think he's going to come up with an excuse not to push for it. But more importantly, I don't know if these people don't realize this, like Ben Dixon and Sam Cedar and these other people, when the $15 minimum wage, if it becomes law, they're going to do it the old neoliberal way and systematically phase it in. So the current starvation level of $7.25 will maybe the year after passage go up to $9. Then the next year go up to $10.50. It's not going to be $15 right away. It's not. I mean, Google it. It wasn't in the states that did it. Seattle didn't just do it at $15. Other states, they should have, but they didn't. So arguing that we should, let's demand something for our vote, but not Medicare for all. Let's demand $15 minimum wage. Well, you have a Democratic president right now who says he's for it. So why are you demanding that if he already says he's for it? Let's just hold him accountable for it because he says he's for it. What are we going to demand the Democratic Party to do in the House? They've already passed the $15 minimum wage. Are we going to demand for Nancy Pelosi for us to give you our votes for you to be speaker? We're going to demand that what? You make Biden fight for the $15 minimum wage? You're still going to, as of now, we're still going to have a Republican Senate. Let's say, for argument's sake, both Democrats win the elections in Georgia, and Biden has a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House. Full Congress. What are you going to demand Pelosi to do? You hold a gun to Biden's head to make $15 minimum wage the first priority? So I don't understand that, but more importantly, there's this thing that I've been seeing in these videos, and I don't know Ben Dixon. I have nothing against him. I think I went on Sam Sater's show once when I was a reporter at the Young Turks. I don't watch him, so I don't know. I'm not bashing him. He's not my cup of tea, a little neoliberal for my taste. But I don't get what makes these people think that they are the official street cred progressives and people should listen to them. It's, you know, I keep hearing and seeing these tweets and hearing these YouTube videos from them that makes them, and it comes off very arrogant and elitist. Like, we've been in the movement for years. We've been on the front lines in movement building. We're in these organizations that build movements like DSA and this and that. Okay, good for you. I'm all for Democrats, Socialists of America. I'm all for Black Lives Matter. I'm all for the Fight for 15 groups, the Medicare for All advocacy groups, all these groups. But nobody has a monopoly on who's a progressive and who has a good idea. Neither do I, by the way. Neither does Jimmy. So, like, Jimmy's not always right. You shouldn't just blindly follow Jimmy. You shouldn't just blindly follow what I say. Evaluate what we're saying. Think for yourself if it's right. But I'm not one to say, we're the true progressives. I don't believe in this purity bullshit. We could all be progressive and just disagree on certain things. I think this purity test, and if you don't agree with me 1,000%, you're a sellout or you're not a progressive, is highly toxic, to tell you the truth. I don't agree with Ben Dixon or Sam Cedar, definitely not the Young Turks anymore, and some other channels all the time. I don't agree with them on a lot of things. Frankly, I think they're blind to a lot of things. I think a lot of them had severe Trump derangement syndrome, and it was clouding their judgment on what was right in front of them, which was the Democratic Party moving further to the right after losing to an orange orangutan reality star. When I was at the Young Turks, I said that publicly, like, enough with Trump and Russia 24/7. That's not why people come to TYT. And it's only gotten worse. But, like, we don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't need to be like, no, they're not progressives. No, they're just wrong. It doesn't make sense. There is nothing to lose by demanding something for your vote. And if it loses, and it will lose, the vote, the Medicare for All vote, you win something because you get it on the record. AOC, with all due respect, saying, we already know who's for it. Just look at the co-sponsors. Nobody looks at the co-sponsors. A floor vote with a debate on Medicare for All will get media attention. There will be traction on social media. It might end up resulting in more polling about the issues. There would be social and digital media campaigns showing people's personal stories. You could get, if the organizers did it right, some cross-organizing with European progressives to show from the NIH and other governments systems that show how it's done in most of the world. And you get a key issue to primary corporate Democrats with in 2022. And guess what? I don't know if it was AOC or somebody else said, well, whatever, they'll just vote yes because they know it's not going to pass. They'll just vote yes because they know it has no chance of passing, so that you can't attack them. You can still attack them. Let them vote yes. What have they done after that vote to push for it? Are they demanding that President Biden go with 70% public approval for Medicare for All? Are they making demands of President Biden? I doubt it. Are they still taking, after they vote yes, are they still taking money from pharmaceutical companies? Are they still taking money from the private health industry? Are they still taking money from Wall Street banks that are heavily invested in the for-profit healthcare industry? I think, honestly, there's a lot of progressives, and I'm not attacking them as so-called progressives. I just disagree with them on this. I think there's a lot of these people who are just trying to find reasons to shoot this down, mainly because it was Jimmy proposing it. Frankly, I think if it was, I don't know, Cenk proposing it, Elizabeth Warren proposing it, Bernie proposing it, they'd all be on board like that. Because to me, it's not really about the issue. They don't. I haven't heard. And I'm open. I just haven't heard one salient, good argument for why not to do this. And to tell you the truth, I also have to tell you, with all due respect to Ben Dixon, I'm a white guy saying this, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Most of the stories I cover are in minority communities. I'm not using the I have a black friend thing, so I'm not racist. I don't think I'm racist. I try to be sensitive. So I'm being clear, like, I'm a white dude saying this. But with that said, I also have an issue where, you can't criticize AOC because she's a woman of color? What? You can't criticize the squad because they're women or they're people of color? No, they're public servants. That's what they signed up for. I don't particularly care if AOC or Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar, I respect the history they're making as strong women of color. I respect the challenges that they have that others in Congress don't. I respect how far they've come to get where they are. But there's this defense of them that we shouldn't criticize them. And if you do, you're going after female politicians or you're going after women of color politicians. And that's just bullshit. I think, and I've said this publicly already, and I lost subscribers for saying it. I don't really care. I'm going to be honest. I think Jimmy goes too far often in his vitriol. I think it's too far to call AOC a fucking coward, a fucking sellout, a fucking this, a fucking that. I don't think that's not going to convince them to do what you want them to do, so it's bad strategy. And I also just think, I get it, you're an angry comedian. I think it goes too far. I don't think you should be calling them that. Okay? Nancy Pelosi, maybe. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, I don't think they deserve that. But I also don't think we should shield the squad if there's valid disagreements. No. I don't think you should be attacking them with vitriol, but if they are refusing to do something that the public, their movement that elected them, really wants, and they're not really providing any specific reasons other than it won't pass. No, you don't get like a get out of criticism jail card free because you're a woman or you're a man, a woman or you're black or brown. And by the way, in Jimmy's defense, he's been bashing the hell out of old white cranky Jew Bernie Sanders for like 6 months. So he seems to me to be an equal opportunity vitriol. I think he went too far in attacking Bernie. I said it when I had him on. Jimmy, I don't agree. I don't call Bernie a fucking coward and a sellout and a fraud. I think he's done a lot for the progressive movement. I think a lot of people would not even have their YouTube shows if not for the Bernie Sanders movement. I disagree with Bernie on a lot of things. I think he's naive. But, I think it's too far to insinuate that we can't criticize the squad or that Jimmy's particularly being critical of people of color or female politicians or no. He's been ranting against Bernie for way too long. So, I don't know. I think it's about the issue. I don't hate AOC. I don't hate Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. I agree with them on 90% of things, but they're not beyond criticism. And we shouldn't let any politician, including Nina Turner, by the way, get too comfortable. We shouldn't let any politician go unchallenged at all times, whether they're white, whether they're black, whether they're brown, whether they're male, whether they're female, whether they're fucking glow in the dark or purple. It doesn't matter. They are public servants. They ran on being public servants and against the corrupt, fake public servants. So they are not beyond criticism. And I believe the Medicare for All floor vote, which again would not pass right away. I agree with the naysayers. It would not pass right away. But the progressive movement, we can't set up this measurement or this bar that we should only do things that are immediately going to pass. Because that ain't how movements work. That I can tell you for sure. That is not how movements work. And the bar for doing things should not be, well, if it ain't going to pass yet, it's a waste of time or it'll blow back on us. No, that's stupid. Frankly, that kind of thinking is how Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and corporate Democrats usually think and sell us on. And by the way, this isn't how we think in terms of running for office. Sam Cedar, Ben Dixon, AOC, they're not saying, well, no, you shouldn't run for office because you likely aren't to win on the first try. Are they saying that? No. It'll badly damage your reputation if you run and lose the first time. By the way, Medicare for All was not even in the discussion 10 years ago. Single payer had majority was against single payer 10 years ago. So it's already gotten to this point in less than a decade through Bernie and progressive groups, organizers behind him, of getting it polling with majority support. So how do you move it eventually to being passed? Not by being tentative, not by sitting here and saying, well, if we force a floor vote, it's not going to pass now, and it might embarrass us, and it might give Mitch McConnell a victory. No, it won't. It is polling with 70% general approval. Many polls, it polls with majority support among Republicans. It is a tool to use right now, get it on the floor, get people on the record, and use it as a major tool, a major political weapon to primary more corporate Democrats. This idea, by the way, that, well, we don't have the numbers yet for it to pass. Well, guess what? We're not going to have the numbers for it to pass for a while. So if our main strategy for getting Medicare for All to pass is only getting enough progressives in office to make it pass, it's going to pass when we're all dead. Maybe when our children are dead too. You can't just wait to get more progressives in office. You need to use the progressives you have right now, which, by the way, thank you, Colin, for making this, is not a small number. Again, right now, those 7 could block Pelosi as speaker if they chose to, if they had the will to do it. We got 5 more coming in, joining them. I'm getting rid of Richie Torres off of this. I've heard too many bad things. And read some bad things. Possibly Nina Turner joining. So, yeah, it wouldn't pass right now, but the moral of the story is it doesn't matter if it won't pass right now. To eventually get it to pass, you're going to have several defeats. But in each defeat, you're going to build and build and build public pressure, momentum, to the point where it's not palatable anymore. Politicians will not be able to get away with it anymore to not provide this as a human right. That's the story. Let me read some super chats that I missed. Thank you, Pop Reality, $2. Jimmy has the cynicism of a black guy. He's not black, that's for sure. Eddie, $10. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it. Chris Garrett, $5. Happy birthday, Jen. Hope you start feeling better soon. I'm sure she's going to watch this back, so thank you, Chris. And yes, it is Jen's birthday, so feel free to leave her a super chat. She's definitely still not feeling great. So I know she appreciates all the well wishes. You guys have been sending emails to her. info@statuscoup.com if you want to send her a well wish. Pop Reality, $5. TYT is shifting, and if you can't see that, you're another naive white guy. TYT is MSNBC, and their board shows that. Kyle's in denial about this, too. Have you been watching me the last 2.5 years? I'm the one I've been saying this. Of course, TYT. Shifting? TYT, I've already said, is MSNBC, is a slightly edgier, coked out version of MSNBC. I agree. I don't watch TYT, not only because of the way things ended, which I won't get into, but I can't watch it anymore. Not to mention the 3 or 4 fundraising emails I get a day from TYT begging for money. What happened to that $20 million investment? I don't know many companies that get a $20 million investment and then are right after that are starting to lay people off. They got a $20 million investment and then started laying off significant numbers of their staff, and then are doing desperate, we need $2 million in a year or we're not going to survive. Somebody should ask them what happened to that $20 million investment. Just saying. So no, I agree with you on TYT. If there were any other super chats, I don't see them. Let me see. If I missed your super chat, email me and I'll read it tomorrow, because usually Jen is on and she keeps a running list of the super chats. So if I missed any, my apologies. That's all I got for the day. Oh, Tommy Kelly, happy birthday, Jen. I will let her know. As a reminder, tomorrow night, members only call. So if you're not a Status Coup member, now's the time. You could sign up. statuscoup.com/join. Become a member for as low as $5 a month. That's how we grow this. That's how we cover in the field reporting. Holy cow, I just am seeing now we got a new member, Larry. Welcome, new member Larry. We are now at 1,762 members, and Larry signed up at the annual rate, $179 a year. Thank you so much, Larry. Happy to have you as part of the community. You as a member now will get the link to join our Zoom call tomorrow night for members. And we really, really appreciate it. And unlike TYT and some other quote-unquote independent outlets, we don't just talk the talk. We don't beg you for money and then do nothing other than talk about Trump and Russia. We're actually out in the field. Yes, out in the trenches covering stories. You might have missed it, but this morning I published, we had Emma Fiala. She's a great independent journalist from Minnesota. She covered the George Floyd protests for us months ago. She's been up covering the indigenous protests against Line 3, another terrible pipeline, a crude oil pipeline carrying the dirtiest tar sands oil you could imagine from Canada. It's going right through Minnesota, several reservations, native reservations. It is endangering a whole series of wetlands. Their wet wild rice, which is some of the tribes their main source of food and agriculture. It is going through the Mississippi River. Millions of people get their water from the Mississippi River. This is Enbridge, their pipeline. Enbridge is responsible for the largest oil spill that we know of in American history years ago in the Kalamazoo River in Michigan. So she was up there yesterday. So we posted a video of several Minnesota lawmakers that joined with Native Americans to see the construction site where the pipeline is being built and hear from indigenous people their concerns about the pipeline that's not only going through their reservation, but endangering their water, their wild rice, and their way of life. It's going through their burial grounds. Like I covered at Standing Rock, this is happening all over the country. And if you came late, my wife just got me this hat, which I love. It says, "You are on native land." And thankfully, I looked it up. They actually encourage, I don't want to be a white guy like doing any cultural appropriation. So this company actually encourages non-indigenous people to wear this hat. It also comes in a beanie to push this message that we are all on native land. So I'm proud to wear it. I'm really happy my wife got it for me. So, Robert Copeland, you said I missed your super chat. Jen is sleeping because she's sick, so I don't have the full list. And unfortunately, it goes away after a while on YouTube. So if I missed your super chat, please email me, info@statuscoup.com, info@statuscoup.com. Tell me what it was, and I will read it tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I might have a story coming up this week that you're going to like. I'll keep you posted on that, and we'll talk to you later. Oh, don't worry. Remember, members call tomorrow night. Sign up. statuscoup.com/join. Sign up for $5 a month. See you tomorrow.